Celebrations in Duncan, Weatherford, and Lawton today as members of the Oklahoma Army National Guard's 45th Fires Brigade are welcomed home.
It's been a year since the troops slept in their own beds here in Oklahoma. OETA's Jason Doyle and photojournalist Aaron Bird traveled to Lawton for the welcome home ceremony.
It was a rock star welcome for the returning Oklahoma Army National Guard members coming home from Iraq. Moms, dads, wives, and children have been waiting for their citizen soldiers to return home, as evidenced by the signs in the crowd. Leanne Twilliger's husband is among those returning to Oklahoma.
A year. He's been gone a whole year this month, so we're so excited about him coming home. This day has been a long time in the making.
Everyone who had left for Iraq a year ago with this 45th Fires Brigade battalion came back safe, as noted during the homecoming ceremony.
This battalion brought every soldier back home safe and sound to their loving families. Thank you.
The Adjutant General for Oklahoma's National Guard forces was on hand to welcome home the Guardsmen, telling them and their families they performed their duties well.
But for the past 12 months, you performed your duties in a remarkable fashion, showing courage, professionalism, and enthusiasm. These qualities have become the hallmark of every Oklahoma National Guard soldier and airman, to include you, and I congratulate you.
Shortly after General Deering finished his speech, the command these troops and their families have been waiting for finally came. Specialist Chris Twilliger and his family were reunited after a year's separation by the war in Iraq.
It's great. Couldn't wait to get back.
Well, tell me what it was like those first moments when they parted that curtain.
Oh my God, my heart was racing. I could not wait to see his face. It was so exciting. I wanted to jump up and down so much and just wanted to run out here while he was in the middle of formation. So it was exciting.
And the one thing Specialist Twilliger wants now that he's back on American soil?
Buffalo Wild Wings and a beer.
From Lawton, Jason Doyle, the Oklahoma News Report.
Tomorrow is the first day of Ramadan for Muslims here in Oklahoma and around the world.
OETA's Jason Doyle visited with Muslims in Oklahoma City to get a glimpse of what it's like to observe the month-long fast.
The Islamic holy month of Ramadan is upon us, with Muslims gearing up for the month-long observance. Because it starts on Saturday, this Friday is special for those gathering for the regular prayer service at this Oklahoma City mosque.
Friday is our congregational prayer, just like Jews have a congregational prayer observance on Sabbath, Saturday, and then Sunday for Christians. And this is actually going to be the beginning of Ramadan, which is the holy month of fasting, and also where the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Ramadan actually begins after sunset. That's when faithful Muslims will begin fasting, helping them to focus on renewing their faith in God.
Basically, you're abstaining from drinking and eating throughout the day, and because of that, you sacrifice something that you have for the sake of God and to get closer to God. And that's what it's all about. It's becoming closer to God through sacrifice.
It's kind of like a boot camp for Muslims, or kind of like a yearly retraining, where we can kind of refocus ourselves on the things that we're required to do as Muslims.
While the prayer service appears to be different from Christian or Jewish services, the message is universal. It's a time to get closer to God. Even living in a Christian-dominated state, Muslims in Oklahoma have found many people have a genuine curiosity about Islam, even when the September 11th attacks were fresh in everyone's mind.
That was the only time I really had any type of negative feedback was during the 9/11 and post 9/11 thereafter. But since then, it's been pretty positive. We get to speak to a lot of interfaith groups, churches, synagogues. We get to speak to a lot of colleges and Bible study groups and people who want to learn about Islam.
It's been very positive that they come with an open mind. They just want to understand what are the tenets of the religion, the pillars of the religion. Talk about those, misused words out there, for example, jihad.
A lot of Oklahomans, some of them would just walk up to you and ask you questions, and they're very curious people, and it's been a pleasure answering their questions and living in Oklahoma in general.
It's also a time for charity within the Muslim community, which is an aspect of the fasting. Muslims who can are instructed to give to those who are less fortunate. The observance of Ramadan won't stay in the mosque. Many events to help familiarize Oklahomans with Islam are planned during this month. From Oklahoma City, Jason Doyle, the Oklahoma News Report.
Meanwhile, in the rural Union City School District, a classroom construction project is underway to handle an influx of new students. OETA's Jason Doyle reports on what the cuts will mean to that project and growth in this rural school system.
It'll be next week when the community of Union City in southern Canadian County will get a peek at their new Media Library Center. The sod is being laid now, and it'll soon be used for the library and additional classroom space for this growing school district. It might not sound like much to those in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, but having more than 300 students pre-K through 12th grade is an accomplishment for a rural school district like Union City.
Enrollment's up to 301 kids, and we hadn't had that high of a student population since the early 90s.
Progress on the new building won't be stopped by the latest round of cuts. It was the community's support of a bond issue which paid for that.
I'm really lucky. I feel fortunate to be here. The community has a good track record of passing bond issues here in Union City, and I think as long as the people see a need, then they're going to vote yes, and hopefully they're going to be real happy with this new building.
Carroll says the school district has found creative ways to be efficient. For instance, he currently holds 3 jobs: high school principal and interim elementary principal. And one of his science teachers is also a classroom sponsor and coaches the basketball team. As far as the 7% cuts to the monthly appropriation, he says the district will have to watch expenses.
We still have to have school. We'll still spend our federal money, our activity money, and all that. But I have, recently talked to the Board of Education, and I've informed the staff that from here on out, we're really going to have to watch this and only buy the necessities.
While Superintendent Carroll says that the school district can squeeze by this year, his concerns are pointed toward the next school year.
We're hoping that maybe we'll be okay this year. But next year might really be scary. I know for a fact there's already some schools out there doing non-payable warrants, and I'm afraid some of the really small schools like out west, it's really going to hurt them.
Carroll says in speaking with other superintendents, consolidation has become a topic of discussion, with one of them predicting that within 2 years, 10 school districts will likely have to be combined to survive. He says the Union City School District will not be one of those which will have to consolidate because of the growing student population putting more kids into its classrooms. From Union City, Jason Doyle, the Oklahoma News Report.
The fight between Oklahoma and Texas over water isn't over. An Oklahoma City federal judge threw out a lawsuit by the Tarrant Regional Water District that sought to access tributaries flowing into the Red River.
The Texas Water District now plans to head back to court with a new legal argument. OETA's Jason Doyle reports there also is an opening now for officials to negotiate a deal for Oklahoma to sell water to North Texas.
The executive director of the Oklahoma Water Resources Board says the decision by U.S. District Judge Joe Heaton shows the state was within its rights in placing a moratorium on out-of-state water sales.
His ruling basically affirms our belief that we can protect Oklahoma's interests, and certainly last year when our legislature passed House Bill 1483, that was a critical component of this.
House Bill 1483 basically gives the power of final approval for out-of-state water sales to the legislature and governor. The Tarrant Regional Water District plans to continue to pursue legal recourse.
Really, we're faced with an option at this point of filing that amended complaint or continuing on with the appeals process. But I think that we see a lot of promise in the order as far as amending our complaint and really continuing on with this case.
While Judge Heaton's decision may not end the battle over water resources between Oklahoma and Texas, it does leave the door open for negotiations between the states to come up with a settlement that would benefit both.
I think it's always been our intention all along is to have a negotiated sale and to have that resolved without having to go through litigation.
House Bill 1483 in the statute sets up that avenue to do that, and that's through the legislature.
In the meantime, both sides expect the legal battles to continue, setting up a lengthy water war between Oklahoma and Texas. From Oklahoma City, Jason Doyle, the Oklahoma News Report.
There already are 2 measures in the legislature that would make English the official state language.
There's also a third bill pending that would make English the state's common language, and that proposal ran head-on today into the other 2 measures. OETA's Jason Doyle reports the collision occurred in a House committee, and the sponsors of each bill walked away angry, facing the possibility of a floor battle.
On Monday, a House committee approved a move by State Representative Randy Terrell to gut Senate Bill 1120, a measure that involved executive sessions of public bodies. In its place, the committee inserted the language from House Joint Resolution 1042, which would designate English as the state's official language. On Tuesday, the House General Government Committee took up another bill involving English. Only this one competes with Terrell's legislation.
Senate Bill 1156 authorizes English as the common language for the state of Oklahoma. It also provides legal protection for our state agencies. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
The first question from lawmakers was an obvious one. What's the difference between designating English as the state's common language as opposed to its official language?
There's no, it doesn't connote any type of a legal difference. The word common, it just means familiar, more usual than the word official. As far as it actually being in statute, there would be no weighted difference between the word official or the word common.
That's when Representative Terrell offered an amendment replacing the language of Senate Bill 1156 with the same words from House Joint Resolution 1042, which would have made 3 proposals making English the official state language.
And I think it provides this committee a heads-up choice about whether or not they want common English or whether or not they want official English.
Terrell's move drew a sharp response from the author of the English as the state's common language proposal.
I think there needs to be an on-the-record vote so that we know which version it is that you favor. Do you favor the real version of official English, or do you favor the one that really is masked as a common English bill that is really a multilingual mandate? So the answer is to give them a choice.
Mr. Speaker, objection. He is making an assumption that I'm trying to mask, and that is incorrect.
Terrell's amendment failed to gain the support of the committee, but that was not the end. Representative Terrell then moved to strike the title of the bill. That would have destined both proposals for a conference committee.
HJR 1042, as it sits over in the Senate now, has the title off. That's the reason for this particular amendment, to put those bills on an equal footing.
But that move also failed. That made it time to debate Senate Bill 1156. Representative Terrell, who does not sit on the General Government Committee, wanted to debate against it, something that Chairwoman Lisa Billy has not allowed in the past. So he asked to speak as a member of the public, a move made last year that involved the chief of the Cherokee tribe, who was blocked from speaking.
Representative Terrell, I think at this time, in light of the chairman's comments, I would ask that you not be recognized for a public comment, and you can get with her later.
Is it the chairman's desire truly to exclude a member from having the opportunity to comment at all?
No, it's the chairman's desire to try to continue to operate this committee in the manner in which we've done it up to this point.
That decision visibly did not sit well with Representative Terrell. Senate Bill 1156 was approved by the committee on a vote of 7-4. It now goes to the House floor, where, if approved unchanged, would go to the governor. Terrell's proposals would require a vote of the people. From the state capitol, Jason Doyle, the Oklahoma News Report. Final touches are being put on the Ford Center as the Oklahoma City Thunder get ready to face off against the Milwaukee Bucks in a home opener. Early in the afternoon, people sat along the wall of the arena hoping to score a last-minute ticket to the game. While many are excited about Oklahoma's image being enhanced by its own NBA franchise, it also creates opportunities for visitors to spend money here.
You know, having 42 events downtown that are going to have, hopefully 18 to 19,000 people at them, also brings in a lot of visitors, brings in people from all over the United States, brings in sports riders, sports travelers, etc. So we get the bump of the economic side of it as well as the image side of it.
Williams says what Oklahoma City has to offer will soon spread by word of mouth, and that will pique the curiosity of others to visit the state. Oklahoma's tourism industry already generates about $5.3 billion for the state's economy every year.
There's another study done by PricewaterhouseCoopers that we're doing as part of our strategic plan for the Department of Tourism, that when the $5.3 billion gets recirculated back through the economy with wages and other benefits that tourism adds about $10 billion to Oklahoma's economy.
Blair says the Thunder is a built-in marketing tool for Oklahoma tourism both throughout the state and across the nation.
There are out-of-state folks that are coming in to see the Thunder, and that there are season ticket holders from across the state of Oklahoma. So this is a great opportunity for us because we'll be mentioned in the national media on a daily basis with the Thunder.
The Thunder is going to make a positive impact on Oklahoma's tourism industry, but it also gives another tool to business leaders to attract firms to locate here in the Sooner State.
Since the NBA franchise has been announced, we've had a remarkably different attitude from major development companies and major retailers about our market. The NBA's stamp of approval has shown people that this is a very viable economic market.
Williams says Oklahoma is poised to see its tourism industry grow because of the team, even as it has become one of the fastest employment growth industries for the state. From Oklahoma City, Jason Doyle, the Oklahoma News Report.